everybody. It's a gorgeous sunny day here in Ohio, finally, after a ton of rain. We all felt like we should, build Noah's Ark just in case, but we finally seem to have crossed that threshold, so I'm not gonna jinx it. Today, I just want to talk to you a little bit about what are the red flags that a hiring manager or a recruiter might be looking for on your resume. Now, first understand that in most companies, your resume is going to go through an ATS, which stands for Applicant Tracking System, long before a human hiring manager or recruiter is ever going to see the resume. However, what we're talking about today is not the ATS systems. I've done other videos on that, and I'll be happy to answer questions on that. But what we're talking about today is after your resume has made it past the ATS systems and actually gotten on to a human, what is it that's going to send up red flags and possibly make you get thrown out by a human? One of the very first things that's going to cause you to get your resume thrown out are typos. And sometimes typos can get past something like the ATS system, even though it's going to look for them as well. And what happens there is sometimes it's just a form of a word, like there, meaning T-H-E-R-E versus there, T-H-E-I-R. So sometimes those things can pass through a system, or even sometimes a grammar check if it's not a great one, and they will get through, and if the human catches them, you will get tossed out of the pile. Because even after the ATS has had your resumes, I can't tell you exactly how many, but normally a company will set it up to maybe, have a human view 10. They've still got to weed that number down a bit because they don't usually interview 10 people. Usually it's like 3, maybe 4 tops. So typos, big, huge thing. And then I also mentioned grammar, and that's a little bit different than just a typo, so you've got to watch your grammar. Use spell checks, use grammar check, and then I would even have a couple of humans look at it just to make sure that something doesn't slip past there, for example, in the wrong form of the word. Now, another thing that employers will look for is a gap in your employment. Normally, if gaps are further back, like let's say you had a gap maybe, 15 years ago, that's not really going to be that important. Where we're really concerned about gaps are around the first job position you have listed on your LinkedIn profile and your resume. That's where they're going to ask you about a gap. Now, just to understand the job market, because it is, job market's better, but because it is still tough to find professional jobs, there's sort of an unspoken grace period of 6 to 9 months. And when I say 6 to 9 months, what we mean there is, mid-management on up to management is normally a 6-month grace period. And then if you are in C-suite, like CFO, CEO, CMO, or so forth, then what you're going to see is a 9-month grace period because those C-suite level jobs are harder to get and there are fewer of them. So what I mean by a grace period is if your gap is 6 months or less and you are in management or mid-management, you are fine. You don't have to worry about covering that gap. It's acceptable. But if you get over that 6-month mark, then you really want to make sure that you have a gap statement on your resume. And I'm going to talk about how to craft a gap statement in another video because that's a topic all in and of itself. I just want you to be aware today that a gap statement on your resume can hurt you and that you need to do something about it, okay? And then the last thing that we're going to talk about today is they also are going to look for, believe it or not, drum roll, outdated email addresses. And what I mean by that is, if it were me, it might be, Tammy1981@AOL.com. They're going to realize, first of all, if you're carrying an AOL email address, that you are not very social media savvy. We all had AOL email addresses when we first started on the internet, but there has been a lot of technology changes and, really you should not be using AOL for email anymore. And if a hiring manager sees it, they're just going to throw you out of the pile because they're just going to presume by you using that email address that you are not social media savvy, that you're not up with the times. And in today's computer age, that's not what any employer is going to be looking for. So there's an easy fix to that one. Just go grab, a free Gmail account, a free Yahoo account, and just update that email address. So those are the tips that I have for you today. today because I'm going to keep this nice and short. But if you'd like to learn more about your job search, go to careerhelptoday.com. And there you're going to find a free job search web class, absolutely no charge to attend. And you're really going to want to take an hour of your time and watch that because I give away a ton of golden nuggets. And just as soon as you leave the masterclass, you can jump right on to your LinkedIn profile and your resume and start implementing all of the strategies that I teach you in that masterclass. So go sign up right now at careerhelptoday.com. And I look forward to seeing you on the presentation.